If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.
Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And then we got Professor Dershowitz on. Why don't you bring
We
him in?
love him, of course, former Harvard Law School professor emeritus. He is the best. Professor Dershowitz, I have to ask you, so much going on. One of the topics tonight could be sanctuary cities, as we were just talking about with Senator Dave McCormick. What do you think the president should say? I mean, he's talked about saying, listen, this is unconstitutional. We're going to put some pressure. What can he do to states?
He should say, imagine if there were sanctuary cities in 1954 when the Supreme Court desegregated the schools in Mississippi and Alabama. And suddenly Mississippi and Alabama declared themselves sanctuaries for segregationists, for racists, for the Ku Klux Klan. You know, if you can be a sanctuary city for non-citizens, you can certainly be a sanctuary citizen for racist citizens. And you just don't want that. You want there to be one. And under the Constitution, the Supremacy Clause says when it comes to immigration, there's only one government, the United States government, that makes decisions about our borders. So sanctuary cities are unconstitutional. The statute that gave cities the power not to help enforce federal laws is unconstitutional. It should be challenged. And I'm hoping the president says he's going to challenge sanctuary cities in the Supreme Court. I would certainly help him out on that. I would certainly help write a brief against sanctuary cities being constitutional.
Judge, you wanted to say something.
Professor Dershowitz, welcome back. I want to ask you about this lawsuit that the DOJ is filing against New Jersey and its governor, who is going to attempt to deny access to ICE to pick up people in the state jails and prisons. What are your thoughts about that?
I think that the Trump administration will win that one. They certainly should win that one. And, it's all part of the same thing. This is Governor Wallace trying to prevent integration in the South with a different guise. But it's the same conceptual thing. You can't have two laws when it comes to things like immigration. We only have one government that controls the borders of our country. It's in the Constitution. There's no doubt about that. New York can't have different immigration laws than New Jersey. And they can't have different asylum laws than New Jersey either. So I think that if the president takes that issue, the American public will support him. Ultimately, the courts will support him. The Supreme Court will support him. And we'll be a safer country.
Absolutely. And what else do you think is a key item tonight?
Well, I hope he says that maybe we should get back to governing the country and stop all this McCarthyism focus on the Epstein lists and everything that grows out of Epstein. You know, just from a personal point of view, just the other day, they unredacted one of the lists, and it has the woman who accused me saying I was totally unaware of anything wrong going on. The same woman that subsequently accused me tells the FBI in 2011 that I was unaware of anything wrong going on. But that was redacted. That was cut out. And for years, I suffered as the result of that. Finally, we had an unredacted FBI interview, and I've been completely and totally exonerated. And that's why I, from the beginning, have always wanted everything unredacted. The only thing that should be redacted are the names of minors, people below the age of consent. But anything involving an adult should be released and should be out there. Let the public decide. It shouldn't be selectively redacted the way I think politicians on both sides have called for. They're wrong.
You know, Professor Dershowitz, I'm curious your thoughts on this with, on the Epstein stuff. We've seen in England, Prince Andrew, former Prince Andrew, then, who was it, Peter Mandelson, who was the ambassador. He just got arrested, yesterday. I mean, this is so much. What do you think, where do you think it's headed with the state secrets? Cause that wasn't sexual. That was tied to giving documents. Where do you see that going, whether it's in England or elsewhere?
Well, England has very controversial law, and it's common law. It's not statutory law, and it says that anybody who abuses the trust — what does it mean, abuse the trust? Half of the American presidents have been accused of abusing the trust. I'm sure when the Democrats speak tonight, they will accuse Donald Trump of abusing trust. So I think that they're going to have to think very hard about whether or not you can use a statute like that. They're considering changing the statute and having the Parliament pass a law about the secrets. And secrets obviously shouldn't be disclosed, but they shouldn't be prosecuted as something vague as violating the public trust. So, look, I've met both Peter Mandelson, who's a wonderful man, and I've met Prince Andrew, who was invited to my class and had a lunch for him at the Harvard Law School before any of this thing came up. And now, as the result of the most extreme McCarthyism that I've seen in this country since 1954, we're seeing so many reputations ruined as the result of anonymous accusations. And no adult — I'm not talking about children now — no adult should be entitled to accuse somebody of something without their names being disclosed so that they can be challenged both in court and in the court of public opinion. For example, there's one thing that was released recently. A woman whose name is redacted — I don't know who she is — said she gave me a massage on one of Epstein's planes. Totally false. I never got a massage on an Epstein plane. I never was on an Epstein plane with a young woman, but I don't know her name. So I'm actually thinking of bringing a lawsuit to have her name disclosed by the Justice Department. Another redacted person said she has evidence that Donald Trump did this and Donald Trump did that, and her name isn't even revealed. President Trump has the right to have those names revealed, too. These are adults, not children. These are 25-year-olds who are making money going back over and over again and getting money from Epstein, and then many of them helped Epstein recruit younger girls. So these are not innocent victims, all of them.
So, in other words, if those people, if those women were above the age of 18, then their name should be disclosed.
If they accuse
at the time
of something.
At the time of the accusation.
That's right. So
I agree.
The person accused should has the right to check. What if the woman, for example, there's a woman named Sarah Ransom. She's accused everybody in the world of everything, and then she admitted that she made the whole thing up. If her name isn't disclosed, then we don't know. Or, for example, in my case, a confidential FBI informant says that I'm a member of the Mossad. I happen to know who this confidential informant is. He's in jail. He is a liar. The FBI discounted everything he said, but his name isn't given. He's just given as a confidential FBI informant. Makes him sound credible.
We could do a press release. We could do a press release on WABC and let 1 million people hear it.
Yeah. But his name is Charles Johnson.
Charles Johnson says he was a
member of the Mossad.
A member of the Mossad.
I recruited Jeffrey Epstein on behalf of Ehud Barak to become members of the Mossad.
Write that down as breaking news, Control Booth.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Well, by the way, Professor, bravo for speaking out, obviously, because if somebody's accused unjustly, it's unfair.
Somebody has to. I have nothing to hide. I did nothing wrong. I've had sexual contact with one woman since the day I met Jeffrey Epstein. Her name is Carolyn Cohn, and she's my wife, and she's sitting down right next to me now. So, I'm very proud of my relationships, and so I'm not afraid of anything. Unlike Prince Andrew, who couldn't be deposed because his reputation was Randy Andy, and so if you accuse somebody who has a reputation like that, then they have to settle the case. I would never dream of settling the case with a false accuser because I don't have anything to hide.
Well, bravo to you, Professor Alan Dershowitz. It's always great to have you.
Thank you.
Letting me say my thing.
Always.
Thank you.
You are
Whenever
always welcome.
Whenever you have something to disclose, WABC will help you disclose it.
You're the guys.
We're ready.
Thank you so much.
Always. Thank you, Professor.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our country has to offer, especially health care. Across every state, every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.